Hello, my name is Erin Wall, and I teach mathematics at College of the Redwoods. My students need to be able to understand and read a math textbook. Well, one of the greatest challenges to this is students haven't been asked to read their math textbook before, for the most part. It's just something that they open up to get the homework problems from. There are a few students who have read a math textbook before, but it was because they had a really bad teacher who didn't really teach them anything and said, "Here, figure it out." The strategies I've tried to help students get through this is, well, initially I'll tell you that the first thing I did was teach around the text. But now I've started adopting a reading apprenticeship framework. I tried it a little last semester, but kind of stopped because there were some parts that were hard for students to understand. I thought they were too confusing and didn't want to assign them. That was before I had read more of the Reading for Understanding book. Then I saw that, you know what, they need to learn how to read those too. So this semester, I've gone all in trying to get my students to read their textbook and adopting the Reading Apprenticeship framework. And my classes have changed significantly. By the second week of class, my class looked like what my classes would normally look like 6 to 8 weeks into the semester. All the students talking with each other, many students coming up to the board and not being afraid, asking questions. And the one thing that was really different was the depth of the questions, the amount of critical thinking and questioning students were actually using when they were thinking about and working with the material. What I'm hoping to gain from this course is learning how some of the techniques that I've read about in the text, some of the activities, they didn't seem that they would apply very well to math. And so I want to see how I can make those work, if there's a way to. Maybe I just can't see it because it's illustrated within the ESL text. So I want to really embrace the framework wholeheartedly and all the exercises and activities that might help my students learn. It's made a big difference, and I'm hoping to see even a bigger difference. Thanks, and I look forward to doing the course with you guys. Bye. My name is Erin Wall, and I teach math at College of the Redwoods. The kind of text my students need to be able to read are math texts. Some of them are preparing for other areas within STEM, and so they need to be able to read science, and we have physics problems and those sorts of things that come up as well. Some of the challenges I find with students having to read a math textbook in particular is they haven't been asked to do it before. The few that have, they only started to read it because they had some teacher who wasn't really teaching them. Maybe it was someone who came in and had to just fill in because their other teacher had some illness and had to stop teaching, and it was like, here, figure out how to do this math. So that's a big challenge. The strategies I've tried, I'll admit, initially for many years, I think I just teached around the text. You find a way to get students the material so that they didn't need to rely on it. However, it limited what you could cover. It makes it really difficult in a STEM sort of course, college algebra and higher, to actually get through the material if you do that. You can't. Students have to be able to read and pick up some of the things on their own so that you're not always having to go back to square one every single time you cover something. But then this last semester, I decided to start looking at Reading Apprenticeship. And I jumped in partway. I hadn't read much of the Reading for Understanding book, but I did some of the things, and it was really beneficial. Introduced metacognition and some of those things, and it was all right. But I got to some areas of the textbook that I thought, oh, this would be too hard for students to read and such, and so I kind of stopped and gave up in the fall semester. This semester, I've jumped in fully with Reading Apprenticeship. I had a chance over the winter break to read more of the Reading for Understanding text, and I've seen a huge difference with my students. By the second week of classes, my classes look like what they used to look like 6 to 8 weeks into the semester. all the students talking, asking questions, participating in class, coming up to the board. And this is in the second week. And on top of that, the questions and the connections students were making were so much deeper. I also have found this semester that I'm able to cover some sections much faster. What I have done is I give students, we did some of the metacognitive stuff, and I've realized that teaching them also what to look for in the sections and talking about it and discussing it, what parts are hard, is this something that's typically hard in math, has really helped. The first exam I gave in my college algebra class, I had 14 out of 26 students get an A this semester. I've been teaching for, wow, I think it's been at least 15 years I've been at College of the Redwoods, but I taught a few years before that. I'm starting to think now it's approaching 20 years that I've been teaching. And I've never had a class do that. And so that was really impressive. I've just gotten done grading the exams, second exam for my college algebra class, but haven't counted up and look at the spread of grades. But I can tell you from grading it, it's going to look really similar. I'm really looking forward to seeing if there are more of the exercises and activities that I can incorporate. One of the issues I've had with the Reading for Understanding text is some things seem like maybe they're not applicable to my discipline, how I would use them. But I can't help but wonder if that's just because the example course is an ESL or a history, and that's why I can't see it. So what I'm really hoping is to get a better picture of how I could use all the various techniques and how I can maybe adapt them to work in my classes. Because it's been really exciting. I love going into the classroom and working with my students. So I look forward to how I can help them even further. I look forward to taking the class with all of you.